Hey, folks, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Friday, August 9th, and the Pittsburgh Steelers play a game today. And I don't know about you guys, but I am pretty excited to talk about something other than training camp practices. It has been a long 2.5 weeks since the Steelers reported to St. Vincent College in Latrobe, and they now will play the Houston Texans in their preseason opener tonight at Acrisure Stadium, 7 p.m. kickoff. I will, of course, be there covering the game for SteelersNow.com. It's raining in Pittsburgh right now. I don't know if we're going to get any decent conditions for this game, but I don't really care if it is a rain-soaked mud fest. I'm just ready for some real football. We've got a lot of content coming out today about players that have a lot to win and lose, and Derek Bell has a good story already up this morning about his 6 players that he's watching. I just want to talk about one thing I'm watching for. I asked Mike Tomlin about it during his preseason press conference, and he sort of brushed it aside, and that's fine. That's the way Mike T operates a lot of the time. But I want to see this offense installed by Arthur Smith operate with a defense that is trying to stop it. And by that, I mean, obviously the Steelers defense is trying to tackle the Steelers runners, and they're trying to win the drills that they're doing against the Steelers offense. They're trying to stop them in 7 shots, absolutely. But they're just calling the Steelers defense. They're calling the plays that the Steelers think the Steelers defense is going to need over the course of the season. They're operating from the Steelers defensive playbook. What the Houston Texans are going to do is they're going to take a look at their defensive playbook. And look, teams don't extensively game plan in the preseason. Certainly, 2 teams that could very well meet again in the postseason aren't going to give away all their best, aren't going to fire all their best bullets in terms of what they think can stop another offense. But it will be different. It will not be the Steelers defense. It will be a different defense that is out there trying to start to pick apart the scheme. And I'm really curious to see what of this works and what doesn't at that level. You know, I think I have a pretty good idea of what the plan is, what the intent is for Arthur Smith in this offense. I think we're going to see a lot of running, most zone runs, but some power, but mostly zone runs. I think we're going to see a lot of screens. I think we're going to see a decent amount of quarterback run, although maybe not in the preseason. And I think we're going to see a lot of play action and a good amount of passing over the middle of the field. That's what we've seen so far through 2.5 weeks of training camp. But as the great Mike Tyson once said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. What's going to happen when this offense gets punched in the mouth? What's going to happen when defenses start to pick it apart? You know, I think Arthur Smith was a good hire for the Steelers. I remember talking about it on Steelers Afternoon Drive. The very day his name first came up, I was like, well, there's the guy. He's a good culture fit. He's a good fit with Mike Tomlin. His offense attacks football the way that the Steelers want to attack football, by first running the ball and then trying to exploit that advantage to make big plays down the field in the passing game. But let's acknowledge that he hasn't been great these last 3 years in Atlanta. And, you know, obviously he did have some success in Tennessee before that, but it's not like it's a slam dunk that this is going to be a top of the league offense. I think we should approach Arthur Smith in his offense with a degree of, you know, caution, of wariness about whether this is going to be a great offensive scheme, a good offensive scheme, an average offensive scheme, or a below average offensive scheme. Now, I think it's going to be better than what the Steelers ran under Matt Canada, no matter what. We were actually having this conversation on the sideline the other day during practice, and I'm a loud guy. You can hear me from a long way away, and I was, you know, talking about how much better I think it's going to be, and like 2 or 3 guys on the sideline kind of looked at me and started laughing. I do think it is going to be a better offense, but how much better this scheme will be is a big part of the story of the 2024 Pittsburgh Steelers. And while I think we know what the plan is, I think we're going to have a lot better sense of how successful this plan might be using these pieces, these players in this format after tonight's preseason game. I don't expect we're going to see the starters a whole lot. And I do think you're going to see basically in the whole second half just a bunch of scrubs. Like, it's going to be the bottom of the roster. You're going to see probably 2 series from guys like Justin Fields, George Pickens, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, even younger guys I don't expect to see in the second half. Guys like Troy Fautanu, guys like Calvin Austin, players that Spencer Anderson, players that you expect to be contributors, Connor Hayward, even if they're not stars. This whole second half is going to be like John Rice Plumlee and a bunch of people that you have to look up the number to see who the heck they are. But I think you can still learn a lot from what the offense is trying to do, even when the game is being played by a bunch of guys that are probably not going to be here come cutdown day. So that's the one thing that I'm really looking for. And of course there's individual players that have a lot to prove, and we're certainly gonna go through that process as well. But I just want to take some time to talk about that. I think it's an important aspect of this game that I haven't seen a lot of other people talking about, and I'm really excited to see what Arthur Smith has up his sleeve for this one. I'll of course be there. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel here. You'll have a very special episode of Steelers Afternoon Rush with Derek Bell and Zachary Smith around 5 o'clock, as I will be making my way. Actually, I'll already be at the stadium for tonight's 7 p.m. kickoff, and then some video content here coming up after the game as well. So make sure you stick around and check that out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Alan Saunders, and we'll see you next time.